Welcome, it's Denome, and welcome to this market update. And this update is going to be a very interesting one because Bitcoin right now is $57,000, and we basically broke through this bottom of the channel as well. So now the question is basically how low can Bitcoin go from here and where is the bottom? So in this video, you will get the answer for that question, at least from my perspective. So there's a lot of interesting things that happened. Yesterday, the Bitcoin ETF actually started trading in Hong Kong. So the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF started trading. And the first day of trade was worth $112 million. And that's a little bit less than the $4.6 billion that was traded in the US Bitcoin ETF on the first day. But still, this is basically new money coming to the market. So that's pretty interesting in my opinion. And obviously, it doesn't seem like a gold rush, but it's still fundamentally good that Bitcoin can be traded in China. So this is unlocking new liquidity to the market. But unfortunately, we have a major thing also going on the background, and that is basically a banking crisis. And there is going to be a major, let's say, default wave coming to the market, and I will show you a chart that will exactly explain how. But the Republic First Bank actually was closed by Pennsylvania regulators. This was not a major bank. It only had $6 billion of total assets, $4 billion of deposits, but it's still a bank. And when one bank goes down, there's obviously a chance a second bank goes down, and then the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth, because everything is interconnected. So when liquidity just suddenly locks up, that means that the banks go fidgety, and they are no longer giving money as easily to other banks because they are afraid that they go bust. So they don't want their liquidity to get stuck in another bank. And if the liquidity gets stuck, that means that they are now stuck as well, and that can quickly cascade into a major financial crisis as well. So this is now the first bank that went down. Last year, there was a banking crisis already. We had 5 banks going down, and then it didn't cascade from there. But now this is basically the first bank that went down here. But when we take a look at just fundamentally the market, let's say, condition, I think this is the best chart to look at that one. And this is the outstanding credit card debt of United States. So this is basically the money that individuals owe, short-term debt. And this is $1.1 trillion over that at the moment. And this is scary because, as you can see, the previous 2 peaks happened exactly at Q4 of 2008. So right at the moment when the markets basically started to melt down. The markets were already in decline before this, but this is basically the meltdown moment. The same exact thing happened here in 2020 Q1. This was the exact, basically the meltdown moment. And after that, the credit card debt went down, and now we have been basically on a parabolic move to the upside here. And this does not look good because this basically signals that the retail investors, let's say consumers, don't have excess capital to use. Some people may still have funds in houses. They may have some deposits, but this basically means that if you have a lot of credit card debt, that basically the consumers are not doing good, and this basically leads to somebody defaulting. And when something defaults, that will lead to another default, and so on and so forth. So eventually this will come crashing down. It could come crashing down this year or next year. We don't know exactly. Before, or typically a presidential election year is a good year for the markets because the president doesn't want to crash on their watch because they want to get on the second term. So we could expect some sort of relief package. And if we do get a massive relief package to the markets, that's when suddenly the retail investors have liquidity again, and then we could see an alt season. But if they just allow a market crash, that's when Bitcoin probably will go down as well. But when we go back to the chart here, just short term, basically how low we can go. Well, obviously we broke through this line here, which is not good. because we don't want the structures to be broken consecutively like we have seen. Like you could draw a trend line here, and this was basically the breakout moment. Now we broke through below here as well, but now we have this line here, and we can copy it, we can paste it, and this basically gives us the bottom, realistic bottom, and that basically takes us to about 56k Bitcoin. It could go maybe 55.7, something like that, but then we are supported by this long-term trend line here. So as long as we are still in a bull market, this basically has to hold. And when we zoom out and we take a look at 2020-21 bull run, you can see that we had a similar trend line here that got supported many times over. So we got supported here, here, here. Then we had a fake out, and then we really kicked off. We came down one more time to the trend line here. We even made a lower low on the RSI. It seemed exactly similarly like we're currently doing a lower low on the RSI compared to here. So from there, we had a final hurrah to the upside. The RSI on the top kept going down while the prices made a few higher highs here, and then we exited the trend line, and that's when the bear market really started. So if we do a similar run up here, we made a lower low on the RSI, we get bounced from the trend line, and then we make final hurrah to 90k, 100k Bitcoin, and then we exit the trend line here, basically, let's say October 2024, something like that, September, August, I don't know when, but basically then we exit here, and then we are in the bear market once again. That's basically my take on the situation. So if I draw it out for you guys, what I'm expecting is the price to continue to go here, then we have a bounce up here, or it could be something like this. Let's make it more realistic. So we bounce, we hang around here for a while, then we make a sudden move to here, then we come crashing down one more time, and this is basically the decision time, and then we go like this. If we go below it, then I would not say game over, but that's when we basically go to, let's say, 40k Bitcoin, because then we are supported by another line here, this one. So those are basically the two scenarios here. Obviously anything can happen, but this is just my take at the moment. So currently I'm not worried, but I do worry that by the end of the year this thing will explode on our faces, and many people will get worried from that. But obviously when banks go bust, that's again fundamentally good for Bitcoin. Even though people panic in the short term, fundamentally that's just good for Bitcoin, because that proves that it acts as a store of value, because your assets are not frozen, they are not confiscated, nothing like that, as long as you self-custody Bitcoin. So all in all, that's pretty much my take for Bitcoin, something like this, and then we bounce from there. So if you get Bitcoin here, I think that's very, very good. But like I said in my previous video, that you probably want to wait out until we get a breakout on this line here. Let's actually continue and draw it further. So let's draw it all the way down here. So once we are above this line here, that's when we are in the bull zone again, and when we are above the RSI here again. So let's take a look at how far this RSI actually goes. So this goes to, let's say, June 2024. So before that time, at some point we should flip bullish again. And by the way, when we go below this line here, what we could also do is maybe I was a little bit exaggerating when I said like 40k Bitcoin. I think we will have a bounce before that. So we go to, let's say, 48 here. That will be the trend line, the support line here. And from here, we could go, let's say, touch this line here, and then we break to the downside. So it would be something similar like we had here. So let me draw it like this. Yeah. So we touched the two bottoms here, and then we went to the bear zone, and then we had a couple highs here on the bear zone, and then the real bear market really hit. So something similar like that could also happen here, depending basically when this basically pops on our faces. So this is basically my TA for now. And for altcoins, they are pretty much fucked up as of now, because there's no retail liquidity coming to the market. So it's just a PVB zone. So the altcoins are really cooked as of now, to be honest. So I'm not expecting massive reliefs on altcoins, unfortunately. Some altcoins obviously might do well. Maybe some people get frustrated and they start throwing money around, revenge trade, and put a lot of money in Doge or whatever, Pepe or whatever meme coin they want. But overall, altcoins I don't think they do well when there's a lot of uncertainty with Bitcoin here. But like I said in the start, Bitcoin fundamentally is very strong. Eventually this will turn around and then everybody will flip bullish again. So in the short term, I'm currently not worried. As long as we are above this line, this is still fine. Personally, I'm buying more Bitcoin as of now, and I will probably sell a little bit here to make not a lot of gains, but let's say 9%, 10% is possible here. And then you basically take the exit here and just wait the breakout. And if we do break out to the upside, then you buy back to the market. So you limit the risk of your capital. And anything can happen. We can go all the way down to zero even. I'm not saying nothing is possible, but just saying that realistically this was the bottom here, or this is the bottom 56k Bitcoin here. So that's my take for today, and I hope you liked the video. Consider subscribing, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks and bye bye.